The next matchup, and again, you're not seeing this if you're watching this one live, but is the famous Toastery Bowl. This one is our first game that's not on the opening Saturday of bowl action. This one is going to be a Monday, December 18th game, pitting 6-6 Old Dominion going up against 7-5 Western Kentucky. Do you know about Western Kentucky and Austin Reed here, TJ? Are you familiar with
I know a lot about him, man. Austin Reed, he's got over 3,300 passing yards for sure. I'm more concerned about Malachi Corey, to be quite honest. I mean, he's a hell of a receiver. I mean, he's got 11 touchdowns, and that 958, call it 1,000, passing yard or receiving yards. That's on 75 receptions. So he's averaging 11, 12 yards a touch, every time he's touching the rock. So I'm super concerned about him. Obviously, anytime you throw over 3,000 yards in a season, you've had a good season in college football, especially with what they're doing. I mean, I'm going to take Western Kentucky in this game. Old Dominion's done amazing things this year. I don't think that they have enough to stop the air raid offense that is Western Kentucky. Their starting running back, Elijah Young, only has 500 rushing yards. I think a little less than 500 rushing yards, and 3 touchdowns because they barely run the ball. Everything's in the air. So Old Dominion's got their work cut out for them. I know they can do it, but I think their defense is more conducive to people who run the ball, and it's been more traditional. So I given what I know about Western Kentucky, I played against them obviously in college, in them and Eastern Kentucky, and I gotta go with Western Kentucky. I gotta go with what my football mind tells me. As much as I love Old Dominion and the progress they made this year and how they made me feel and look stupid, Western Kentucky has certainly. I think they got it.
Yeah, I think I'm ultimately siding with you here. I think what we saw to end the year for Old Dominion, I'm going to bring it up here as we talk. They did beat both of the Georgia schools to end the season. As we just spoke about a little bit ago, Georgia Southern not really on the up and up when the end of the season was rolling around. Georgia State, much of the same way. So, yes, those are wins, but they literally won on the last play there against Georgia State to make it to this bowl game. Mm-hmm. We know that the Sun Belt is predicated on some pretty good defenses, but offensively, we put up points, but it seems like in the bowl season, sometimes that slows down a little bit. Yeah. And this Old Dominion offense could struggle against Western Kentucky. Is not necessarily the greatest defensively, but like you said, they just sling it, gunslinger mentality at the quarterback position for every year. I mean, it's Clay Helton's brother who's the is it Tyler Helton?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's what I would have loved to have seen. Western Kentucky versus Georgia Southern in a bowl game would have been awesome.
That would have been super dope
for that one. But and it's funny that you mentioned Malachi Corley to start with, because he helped torch App State when Western Kentucky beat us senseless the other year in that other bowl game. So I don't know what it is against Western Kentucky.
He's really good.
Yeah, they are. They went up against Troy earlier this year. I'm going to bring that. That game ended 27-24. If that tells you anything, we've seen what Troy can do.
Yeah.
So with a good offense, they were still holding on right there with a very well-rounded Troy team. So this team is dangerous. They could score a lot of points. This could get ugly for Old Dominion. You've got Jason Hutchison. I'm going blank on his name now. That I just thought about it. But anyway, he's there at the linebacker position. He's making tackles all over the field.
Right.
I just don't know if he's by himself enough. And I know obviously he's not really by himself on the defense.
Sure,
but there's not as many. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the guy on defense, and I think they're going to be and really, honestly, with the way that Western Kentucky spreads you out and throws the football, I don't know that he'll be that much of a factor because he's not a cover linebacker, right?
True.
I mean, they don't run the ball that much. Like I said, their top running back has like 460 some yards. They don't run, and he only has 3 rushing touchdowns. So it's
crazy.
Yeah, they don't run the ball, and I just don't think he's going to be as effective as he has been in the past, for sure.
Yeah, we have both Artie Cat and Captain America from our YouTube feed saying that they are down. They're trying to get the Traders to go down, and they're calling the Traders Western Kentucky because, for those of you that don't know, they used to be in the Sun Belt Conference. And if everything I've read is correct, because I'm joining this a little bit after the fact when they left, but nobody has interest in them rejoining the conference, at least not from the members who went against them. Maybe somebody like Old Dominion wouldn't care because they didn't really have interaction, but the members that were here before all that went down have no love lost for the Hilltoppers from Western Kentucky. So I would love to see Old Dominion get the victory. I think you and I would both like to see that, especially down there in Charlotte. It's going to be down there at UNC Charlotte, because this should have been the Bahamas Bowl. There's renovations going on to the stadium, so this is actually going to be at Jerry Richardson Stadium, or whatever they call it, on the Concord Charlotte.
I've been there. It's actually UNC Charlotte actually has a pretty nice stadium. I've been there. It's I saw when they played when Maryland came down and played against Maryland, walked the dog on them. This was a couple years back.